You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
Is this real life? I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me. What's happening? You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers. Ah!
For years, it all played out in the background. Clips brushed off, awkward moments laughed away, questions never asked. What was once dismissed as noise is now being re-examined, frame by frame, as 50 Cent's new documentary forces the timeline back into focus. At the center of that timeline stands Diddy, a figure whose influence shaped careers and controlled access, and Justin Bieber, a global star who entered that world at an age when power dynamics were anything but equal. This isn't about viral clips or internet rumors. It's about influence, silence, and how long uncomfortable truths can remain buried when too many people benefit from looking the other way. That what's changing now isn't just public interest, it's scrutiny. And once scrutiny starts, the past doesn't stay quiet for long.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of it.
Man.
And then out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay?
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come out, you gotta, you know, wear your seatbelt.
I mean, I'm 15, you could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
Alright,
No.
16.
No,
16.
slow down. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Alright.
Then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion?
Yeah.
Alright. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but, it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
You're going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about. Shit.
Justin Bieber's rise was sold as a modern fairy tale, but behind the success lived an uncomfortable reality. A minor moving through adult power structures with little visible protection. Archival footage and past interviews place him in environments where access Influence and fame consistently outweighed age-appropriate boundaries. For years, those moments circulated in plain sight, quietly dismissed as quirky celebrity culture instead of examined as systemic risk. The issue isn't a single incident, it's normalization, an industry conditioned to look away. When childhood is exchanged for proximity and opportunity, the question isn't just what happened, but who was responsible for making it possible and who chose not to intervene.
Understand? You got people in the industry that's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody going to come forward? We got this information, this alleged information, but nobody's willing to come forward. Then they go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter, dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, then have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now, change his life.
You mentioned minors, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and they're making a lot of allegations.
50 Cent has long cast himself as an outsider to Sean Diddy Combs' private world, insisting he was aware of its atmosphere without ever participating in it. For years, those statements were brushed off as personal rivalry or provocation. But viewed through the lens of today's legal scrutiny and cultural reassessment, their meaning shifts. This does not validate every claim, nor does it establish guilt. What it does is reframe intent. Warnings can exist long before evidence becomes public. And when criticism comes from a perceived adversary, it is often dismissed rather than examined. The question that lingers is uncomfortable but necessary. How many early alarms are ignored simply because the messenger is inconvenient? Diddy's influence reached far beyond music. He controlled access to spaces where careers could rapidly rise or quietly stall. Justin Bieber's proximity to that influence reflected a broader industry logic, one where opportunity often flowed through powerful gatekeepers rather than transparent, accountable systems.
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also.
Got me a Lamborghini. And
Oh, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house. And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not.
Something, everything ain't for everybody.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy.
The concern raised by observers is not only what may have occurred behind closed doors, but why meaningful oversight was absent in plain sight when career advancement depended on proximity to authority. In systems like this, boundaries become flexible, resistance carries consequences, and the question shifts from what happened to who was truly empowered to say no, and who paid the price for refusing.
I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks it's all right. Bruh, when does it comes all right to be sitting there eating food off a naked woman? When did we start doing what they do? Let's keep it a buck. When did we start doing what they do? These guys is popping pills. They got Jay-Z dancing with a chick that's into cannibalism.
Long before Justin Bieber entered the global spotlight, Usher openly spoke about being placed into Diddy's world as a teenager, an experience he later said exposed him to adult realities far earlier than he was prepared for. That history matters because it establishes precedent rather than rumor. When similar pathways appear across different generations, coincidence becomes less convincing, and the implication shifts toward systemic continuity, trust transferred without meaningful reform. If discomfort was recognized once, the harder question becomes why the structure itself remained unchanged for the next young artist.
Might make you change your mind. Look at Little Nas X. He fizzled out fast, too.
So would you say someone like Justin Bieber's a victim? I just seen he is reportedly selling his whole catalog because he's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And once he finishes getting that money, I don't understand why he's broke. He didn't have to be broke. Usher just wouldn't stop robbing him.
Damn.
I mean, Usher couldn't keep his hands out of his pocket. It's funny. He got him signed and turned over custody to Diddy. And boy was never the same, and neither was Usher's pockets, because Usher's been living off of Justin Bieber's money. He ain't been living off of his own. Because the truth is, Usher don't really make that kind of money. And I'm really just kind of sick and tired of Usher Raymond.
Yeah,
I'm really kind of disgusted with Usher Raymond, who does Greek wrestling nude with men over Frosted Flakes, allegedly. Like, I'm sick and tired of this guy who everyone knows got the Diddy bumps, who's been sued for passing them on and lost. It's still sitting there disgracing women in front of their men who bought the tickets to like that whole scheme.
He's causing a lot of divorce courts.
But why? He don't even want them. He don't want them women. He's literally doing it just to destroy relationships.
Many celebrities with long-standing proximity chose silence, while 50 Cent amplified his commentary. That contrast exposes an unspoken industry equation. Speaking risks relationships. Silence preserves them. Loyalty becomes difficult to separate from self-protection. The implication isn't cowardice, but calculation, an ecosystem where truth competes with survival. And when silence becomes the safest option, the question remains, does accountability still have a place?
I watched a video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Real life street star. You know what time it is.
Jermaine Dupri said something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He said the reason that R&B isn't as powerful as it is anymore is because children are going to church.
Yeah.
What is it about the transfer from the spiritual to the secular do you believe that's what made R&B so powerful?
Understand this. Rhythm and blues was a combination of gospel and soul music. Because soul music has always been around in one form or another. It's just evolved throughout the years. And you got gospel, rhythm and blues. That's what put that together. That's why they made such a big stink about the Ray Charles incorporating gospel sounds into secular music.
Right.
Because they wanted people to separate the two. This is demon, this is good. The truth is none of that's real.
Right.
There is no bad, there is no good. There is what is and there is what is not. And that's sad. But when you take the spirit that comes from that.
Justin Bieber has never publicly accused Diddy of criminal wrongdoing. However, his later reflections on anxiety, loss of control, and emotional collapse complicate any simple narrative of success. Bieber has spoken openly about being overwhelmed at a young age, surrounded by powerful adults with competing interests, and lacking the maturity or protection needed to navigate that world safely. Taken together, those admissions form a record not of accusation, but of vulnerability, one that raises uncomfortable questions about how young talent is managed, protected, or left exposed at the highest levels of the industry.
Witness that just testified against Diddy to the grand jury and had to give up 8 videotapes to the feds that contained celebrities in these freak-offs with Diddy is now listing some of the names that he saw on these tapes. And this man said that he got these tapes from a very close friend of Kim Porter's, and these were Kim Porter's tapes that she was going to use against Diddy. And some of the names that he says are some that we have heard rumored over the years. He said he saw Justin Bieber on this tape and he appeared to be underage during this time. He also saw Usher on these tapes and Usher definitely appeared to be underage. And this one gave me the chills because we've heard that Usher is the one that sent Justin Bieber to Diddy. Courtney Burgess sat down with the Too Strong channel here on YouTube and started naming some of the celebrities that he saw on these tapes.
Were kids involved in these parties that you can verify from looking at the tapes? If
Justin Bieber was older than he's supposed to have been, yes. If Usher was older, well, Usher was definitely young.
Okay.
You understand? It showed the part with his, the blood was all in his bed. You understand? It looked like they came home from a event, a party or something.
Went on to explain how Danny Boy was also in one of these videos with Mary J. Blige and Diddy together. And Danny Boy admitted when he was 15 that Mary J. Blige flew him out to New York and he slept with her while he was underage.
The implication is not legal. It is human. Trauma does not always arrive with an accusation or a courtroom narrative. Often, it surfaces years later as anxiety, instability, or fractured identity, damage without a name. When harm is systemic, dispersed across power structures rather than tied to a single act, demanding one explicit allegation before acknowledging it misses the point. The question isn't who filed a claim, but why so many stories echo the same aftermath. At what point does pattern outweigh denial and silence stop being neutrality?
Hey,
Mary J.
Danny Boy.
Danny Boy, okay.
You know what Danny Boy is?
I heard that before. I don't, I've been so far away from hip hop, I forgot, but I have heard that name, Danny Boy.
Danny Boy back then, he was about 16. They both was about.
He also claimed that Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, were in these videos, and he also said that there was photographs and videos of Diddy eating off of young girls.
Pictures or images of any of this stuff?
Yeah, I got Justin Bieber, Will Smith's son, whatever his name is. Other females on the table, they was young. He was eating off them. A lot of entertainments in there. I got calls from certain of them wanting to get the tape out of my hand. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And I have said that if this man testified to the grand jury, the feds had to have some reason to bring him in to actually testify against Diddy. But y'all let me know what you guys think about this man naming all of the people on the Diddy tapes in the comments.
When Diddy's story entered federal court, the conversation shifted from rumor to record. Allegations became filings, claims were narrowed by evidence, and the scope of discussion was constrained by what could be legally proven rather than culturally understood. Courts adjudicate actions, not ecosystems, which leaves broader questions untouched. The distinction matters. Legality is not morality, and acquittals do not dissolve structural harm. A verdict can close a case, but it does not resolve the conditions that allowed it to exist. When the courtroom doors shut, the deeper conversation remains unfinished.
Now, do you think he has a mole or an informant in his camp that's cooperating?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had drug charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on a plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for drug charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm going to give you something different. And I'm going to give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up. And he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he think this person may be a witness. Right?
The intersection of 50 Cent, Diddy, and Justin Bieber exposes a deeper reality within celebrity systems. Power accumulates at the top, risk cascades downward, and accountability often arrives too late. Youth is packaged as authenticity, access is disguised as mentorship, and silence is rewarded as professionalism. This is not a story of individual certainty. It is a story of recurring conditions. When patterns repeatedly produce harm, at what point does the system itself demand scrutiny?